نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sisters. I hope that you are doing good, inshallah. And yes, once again, welcome back after the weekend. I hope that your weekend was good, inshallah, and that you are kind of memorizing things side by side because Ramadan is just around the corner, right? It's just approaching us very quickly. So before that, all of you beginner sisters are supposed to, just uh, learn that much qaida, which will be, kind of sufficient a bit for you to at least read the Quran, right? It at least make the recitation a bit of some parts of the Quran or things like that. Okay, inshallah. In the last session, we were covering the topics of elongation, or like the letters of elongation and lean letters. So those were the two topics that we covered in the previous session. So what happens, like today's session is sort of a, you know, very similar thing that we will learn today, inshallah, and you will find it, inshallah, very easy as well. So the lesson, like the topic that we will cover for today is vertical harakas, right? Vertical harakas. Earlier we did the simple harakas, right? The fatha, dhamma, and kasra. And I mentioned that in the previous lesson we covered the two topics of letters of elongation and lean letters. So this lesson is related to the vertical harakas are related to the letters of elongation. And you know what you can do is that you can just say that they are like almost the same. Okay, almost the same. We will see the difference as well. What were the letters of elongation? First of all, you should be remembering these. Okay, the alif madda, waw madda, and ya madda that we covered, the three mads which we were supposed to stretch for two counts. Okay, like the twice for the normal haraka. So this topic of vertical harakas, it involves again, small alif, small waw, and small ya. Earlier we did the three letters of alif, waw, and ya in letters of elongation as well. In today's topic of vertical harakas, or you can say, right, upright, fatha, upright kasra, or you can say upside down dhamma. These are all the names used for this topic. Or you can say small alif, you will see, inshallah, small waw or small ya written as well. So let's see what are these: small alif, small waw, small ya. It should be noted that these letters of elongation, haruf al mad, right? Haruf al madda. Mad means stretching, elongating, are of two types. The first type we have already covered, which was specifically called as the letters of elongation, right? Today we will be doing the second category of that. One is commonly used type, which is like ba, fatha, alif, ba, right? We did this. This is, here, this is alif madda in this example. The second is ba, dhamma, waw, sakin, bu, and ba, kasra, ya, sakin, bi. And these were the three: waw madda, alif madda, and ya madda. So the other is a small form of these letters that takes the place of the letters themselves. For example, the second type we will be doing today looks like this, right? Earlier we did these in this way. We elongated the sound of alif, waw, and ya in this way. Today again we will be doing the elongation, right? Today again we will be doing the mud. So, but that just looks a little different when you see it written in the Quran. Okay, so sometimes the same kind of muds are written in a different way, you can say. So on a ba letter, you will find a fatha, which is like a normal fatha, right? The slanting line above the letter. And, at the side of this letter, you will find this, upright fatha. We call this upright fatha as well. Or you can say this as small alif. This looks like a small alif written on the side here, okay? So you will find it written like this. And what happens is that you are supposed to articulate this ba just like the way we did here. Okay, here we will call it alif madda, alif, madda. But here we are just saying, this is like a small alif, you can say, or you can say this upright fatha, or you can say, this standing straight line below any letter, right? Standing straight line below any letter. Or you can say this like dagger alif as well. So if you find all of these names, they all just refer to this symbol. Okay, this symbol. And what we do is that we just articulate this in the same manner we do this. So for this we used to stretch the sound for like the twice as the normal haraka of fatha, and we said ba rather than ba. So we said ba. Again here we will say ba. Both are exactly the same, just the way they're written is different. Okay, so in the next example you see ba with a dhamma on top of it, but here again you see this small wow, this, right, the small wow mentioned here as well. So you see this small wow here, and what you will do is that you are supposed to just articulate this in the same manner as you did this with the mud here. Wow madda. Wow madda was wow sakina, and before that there was a dhamma, right? There was a dhamma. This was wow mud, wow stretching. And here this same thing is just mentioned in a different, in a different symbolic representation, you can say. So we will stretch this again for 2 counts and say boo, boo, right? And the third one is this ba with a kasra here, and you see this little ya written here. So when we did the first lesson, right, when we were doing the names of the letters, I specifically mentioned this ya, that sometimes we write ya like this and sometimes ya is like this as well. So this is like the small ya, right? This is also ya. So the small ya is written at the side with a letter with a kasra. Letter with a kasra, and on the side there is a small ya written. We are supposed to articulate this small ya written in the same way we used to articulate the ya madda, right? Ya madda meant, sorry, there's a lot of mess I'm creating, but still, ya with the sakin, and on the previous letter there was a kasra, so we made a long sound and said b. Here again we will say b, just in the same manner. Okay, so this is just same thing we are doing, but with different visual representation, with a different symbolic representation, you can say. So the topic we are covering today is small alif, small vav, small ya, or you can say upright alif, upright upright fatha. Alif is like, similar to the sound of fatha, or you can say upright kasra for the ya one, and you can say upside down dhamma for waw alif. We will inshallah see why I'm mentioning these. So I've just mentioned it here again. If somebody has, forgotten what we discussed in the letters of elongation, all right, these were the 3 letters of elongation of alif, vaw, and ya, and how we are supposed to know these are mad. I have again mentioned it here. So we did this, and we were supposed to stretch this for 2 counts, right? So uh, for vertical harakas, we're doing today the small fatha, small kasra, and small dhamma. The vertical we are doing. Okay, so let me just. Okay, so the topic we are covering is vertical harakas. I mentioned that you will find these written like this. The small mentioned here, alif mentioned side on the side of the letter, and the small ya written on the side of the letter, and the small vaw symbol written on the side of the letters as well. So when you find these, I mentioned that you are supposed to do the same thing you did with the letters of elongation. But what happens is that this is the representation you will find in the musafs of the normal musafs, right? Like the Usmani musaf. Musaf means the Quran that you are following. Okay, the Quran are all the same, but the symbols sometimes they are written in a simplified way, and we find mostly in the Indo-Pak musafs, India and Pakistan and all of the subcontinent, right? In India, Pakistan musafs, and the other musafs, mostly people follow the Arabic musafs. Okay, you will find these written in the these symbolic representation written in the Arabic Musaf, the Usmani Musaf. Okay, so most of you might be having this one because that is the one where we can learn the tajweed in a better way. But with the simplified musafs, in the simplified musafs, you will find this representation like this. Okay, what happens that in these musafs you will not find the fatha written with it. You will just find the standing straight line symbol, or the small ya, or this dhamma will be written in the inverted form. It will be upside down. The normal dhamma was like this, right? But here it's like upside down, or you can say inverted dhamma. So you will this I'm mentioning just for the people who are following the simplified missive, but actually you're supposed to just remember the second one I have mentioned. Okay. So you'll find just this little difference that I've mentioned. Okay, let's just come towards the exercise that we do. All of the letters here written with this small, symbols here. And you are supposed to stretch these for 2 counts, inshallah. So let's do all of these. Ba, boo, B, right? All for 2 counts. Stretching for 2 counts. I'm not saying ba, B, boo, or ba, boo, B. Not just like this, okay? We're just giving some time to ba, boo, B, and that is just the same thing we that is just the same thing we did with the mud as well. So if that would be, the mud, we would have written it like this. Ba with a fatha and, alif sakin here. So this is just different way here. The topic is named different because of the way it's written. Okay, so we'll just see these I have written here so that you can just kind of revise the topic that we did of mud as well. So all of these things I've written here are representing the mud, because mud and this thing are same. Okay, just let's move forward. Ta, tu, ti, ta, su, fi, ja, ju, ji, ha, hu, hi, kho, hu, khi, da, du, di, the soft one, okay? Ro, ru, ri. The two raws will be heavy, the first one and the second one here, and this third will be light. Okay, ro, ru, ri, or you can say the first two will be full mouth and this one be empty mouth. Za, zu, zi, sa, su, si, sha, shu, she, saw, su, si, ضا, ضو, ضي. The heavy ضاد, okay? The heavy طا is next. طا, طو, طي. Okay, so I hope that you're finding this simple, inshallah, okay? Nothing just special. Just you're supposed to focus on these small symbols, okay? In all of this exercise, you are supposed to focus these. And also when you're going to read from the Quran as well, you are specifically supposed to say these as well. It means that whichever letter has these, you are supposed to just stretch that for twice as much as the simple haraka, right? So you are not supposed to neglect this symbol now, okay? Inshallah. So in all of these examples, I have marked it, and let's do this exercise as well. The first word here is tujza, tujza, and this word, even though we are specifically focusing on the small alif symbol, but here you see Jim letter here, Jim letter with a sakin, and I mentioned that there are 5 letters which when come with a sakin on top of it, we make a bouncing, the sound bounces back, and we call those letters as qalqala letters, like there is this movement on them, the sound echoes. So that is why you see a Jim letter here, right? And it has a sakin, so we make the sound like tuj, tujza, tujza. Okay, so here I'm stretching the for 2 counts because there is this standing straight line symbol after the za letter. Okay, you might be just focusing on this thing as well. I know you are beginners for now. You should not be just focusing on these things because you will get a hand of these with time, inshallah. But still, for those of you who might get just confused with it and say that okay, this was supposed to be written like this, tujza, because we have learned that the letter that has a fatha and it will appear on the side of that letter. So you would be saying, okay, so how come there is a ya written here and then there is this symbol? So aren't we supposed to say tujzaya, right? So we are not supposed to do that. And why we are not supposed to do that? Because there is this role of ya here as well, that sometimes I mentioned that sometimes a ya becomes the chair of the hamza, sometimes waw becomes the chairs of hamza, sometimes hamza for Aleph, kind of becomes the chair of Hamza. So, just in the same manner, sometimes, we do not write this Hamza separately, and Hamza needs an extra vowel for this. If you have, if you know this point from the previous lessons that we have covered. So, kind of, the same cases here that for the uh, standing, you can say Fatha, we are, just needing this ya here, inshallah. That is another topic, okay? So that is why I just don't want to mention this right now, but you can just say that this is tujiz. What you can remember in these examples is that what you can remember in these examples is that when you will see a ya with just this symbol, or this symbol, or anything you can say, mostly it will be this symbol. So this ya does not have any fatha symbol before it. Okay, I said that in normal cases you will find the standing straight line on a letter with any fatha symbol. So because ya here is just written like this, it does not have any symbol here like this of fatha. So fatha symbol is on the previous za letter. So for this, you will remember that the za is supposed to be stretched here and not ya, because ya does not have any fatha symbol for us to make a ya sound. Ya with a fatha sound, we are not supposed to make that because ya does not have any fatha symbol. The fatha symbol is because on the previous letter, so we will just stretch that za here and not ya here. So we say tuj za, and we just kind of ignore this ya from here. Okay, so this was actually with this one. Okay, I hope that you just understand this point till here. So again, in the same example, the word is yara. Yara. So again, this is not written like yara, yara, but rather the symbol is on the next ya here. So what you're supposed to do, simply just kind of ignore this and just attach this with this one. Yara, yara. Okay. Okay. So the next one is again fahada. Fahada. The first two are for just simple 1 count. Fa, ha, and da for 2 counts. Fahada. Okay, why again? This again, we are supposed to just ignore this ya from here because ya does not have any fatha symbol previously, all right, previous to it. So this is for dal. So we stretch da. The next one here is awha. Awha. Again, here it's written like aw. This is not written like this. Awha. Awha, but rather the ha letter is attached with ya, right? And it's not written like this for us to say awhaya, right? We cannot say it like this because this symbol is not here. So we say awha and just kind of ignore this from here, okay? For now you just remember this thing because okay, ata, ata, again here same case, okay, ata, aba, yas'a, يسعى لظى لظى يرضى عصا عصا. Okay, you see all of these yas written here, but they're just there for the standing symbol. Okay, and the standing symbol, you can say it's just using this ya as a chair to sit on, because otherwise there was a chance that you might just for example, just say this. For example, this putting this ya just makes this symbol prominent for us to see. You can say it like this, because I told you this symbol comes at the side. For example, when we write ba, this symbol comes here. So when this ba is attached with a word, for example, oh my god, okay, let me just do this again. Okay, so I was mentioning this word here. Let's take this word aina. What in a ba, okay, arena, but suppose this is a word. Okay, so this was written like this here. So when we are reading, so there is a case, there's a chance that you might just kind of forget reading this, because this is like a small one written just at the side. So there is a chance, so if we write like this way, you know this ya using this as a chair, so it becomes a prominent here, right? So in all of these examples, you see that yeah, and on top of it, you see this symbol. Okay, so we just say yakhsha here, yakhsha, asa, rama, qala, abka, abka, stretching kaf here, lam here, and meme here, right? Rama, qala, ab. Again, ba letter with the sakin, and we're making a kalkala here. Abka, abqa, the heavy qaf at the end. Yakhfa. Okay, all of these examples are with a fatha. Let's, just, okay. So I have not, mentioned the exercise with a kasra here. So what we can do is that we can just practice this at the end of the session. I will inshallah open the PDF for that. But for now, what we have done is the three symbols, which are called small alif, small ya, and small wow, you can say. Or I will inshallah open the PDF at the end. But let's move on to this next topic that we will inshallah cover for today. And this topic is rules of noon, sakin, and tanween. Okay, rules of noon, sakin, and tanween. Okay, so let me just see this if I can find it right now. Okay, so I have, I've opened this here. I don't want to make you confused, so let's just do this now as well. Okay, so the next words you can see here are the examples with the standing straight line below the letter, the uh, which is the small ya that we have covered. Okay, so let's see the example here. So the first word you see here is fihi, fihi, right? In this word, at the end, you see a small ya written here, right? At the end, the small ya you see fihi. I'm stretching he for two counts. I'm not saying fihi, fihi. I'm not doing this, okay? Because a small ya is written at the end, so I will stretch the he a bit more, okay? Fihi, fihi. I'm stretching fi here because of ya madda here. And the second ha I'm stretching is not because of ya madda, but because of the small ya here. Okay? The next example is bihi, be he, be for one count, he again for two counts because of small ya written here, you see. Be he, yalvuna, yalvuna. Okay, so We have done the third point, which is of small waw written here. So after the waw with the dhamma here, you see a small waw written here. Okay, so in case of the small waw, sometimes what happen is that the sound changes a bit as well. In the case of this he and the sound, the sound remains the same. But in case of small vowel, sometimes you will hear a different kind of sound. For example, this word here you see is yel woona. So I'm making a sound like woo. I am not saying yel oona, right? It's not that different sound, but sometimes people can get confused and say yel oona, ooh, right? They can make this sound mistakenly as well. So what you're supposed to say is yal woo, woo, this here yal woona. So yal woona. So I'm stretching the woo sound here for two counts. Why? Because of this small vowel written here in the middle here. So yal woona. If this wouldn't have been here, I would have said yal woona, yalvuna. Okay, so I'm saying vuna, yalvuna, هذه, هذه. Okay, so in this example, you see the two of these symbols, the small, this alifs here and the small ya written here. So we say this for two counts, ha, ha, and then the for just one count, right? The, the, and again, stretching the he for two counts because of small ya here. So we say هذه, هذه. Okay, so the next one is وجهه, wajh, making a kalkala on dream, wajh, wajhi, he for one count here, and the next he for two counts because you see at the end there is a small ya. So we say wajhihi, he, wajhihi. Okay. So this is the way you are supposed to do all of these exercise, inshallah. Okay, because I just want to move on to the topic, the next topic as well, which is very important as well. So just let's do one or two examples, more. And what you are supposed to do is that you are kindly supposed to just practice this exercise on your own as well. And if possible, you can just send me your audios as well. That would be great, inshallah. خلقه, خلقه. So here at the end you see a small vowel written here, and that is why I'm stretching the sound of who for two counts and saying خلق, just for one count here, خلق, and who, خلقه, وثاقه, وثا. You see I'm stretching here, but because of alif madda here. Alif madda means letter of elongation of alif, which means alif sakin, and on the previous letter there is a fatha. So we stretch for two counts and say tha, wa, tha, qa for one count here, hu for two counts because of small vowel. وثاقه. Or okay, let's see this one here. داوود, داوود. Again, this woo sound. You're not supposed to mistakenly say daudu, oo. You're not supposed to make oo sound here. So this is woo, Daawudu. Stretching woo here because of small vowel written here. The stretching here for alif madda. Woo stretch here because of small vowel and not stretching at the end on do. Daawudu, Daawudu. Okay. Yes, Daawuna, yastawuna. Okay, so again, wuna here for two counts because of small vowel written here. Okay, I hope that the small vowel, small alif, and small ya are clear to you. And inshallah, let's move on to the next topic that we will cover. This topic, is an we are starting this kind of, say you can say a new topic from here. Okay, for the previous topic that you can say that was like different session of Qaida. Now this again is a like a very important topic that we are starting. So that is why I just wanted to give a bit of introduction to this, and inshallah we will cover this tomorrow as well. So these are rules of noon, sakin, and tanween. We have covered the sakin, right? The symbol that is there on the letter, which is a vowel-less symbol. I said that this works in silence, and this is like a very, very important symbol because you saw the role of this in all of the most of the topics that we have covered so far. So the noon letter, this is about the letter. Noon is this letter, right? This letter is noon, and this is a sakin. So this means that the rules that we will be covering are of this thing, noon with a sakin on top of it. Okay, so sometimes I mentioned that the letter which has a sakin, it is not written with any symbol like this or this. It's if we simply write this like this as well. For example, if we write it like this, Ain. So this word is Ain. Even I have, even if I haven't mentioned this symbol of, this symbol or this symbol. So whenever there isn't any symbol, you can still say there is a sak in there. Okay. So the topic we will be inshallah covering is related to noon sakin, rules of noon sakin and tanween. So tanween was, what was tanween? Tanween were the double harakas that we covered, the double fathas, double kasras, and these double dhammas, which made the an, in, and un sound, right? And for this tanween, let me just make this next thing. So the rules that we will cover, inshallah, will be the rules of noon sakin or tanween. You see, the noon sakin is like something like this, noon with a sakin, and tanween is, these three symbols that you can see in all of these examples, right? Of jannatan, the like this tan sound that is there at the end, or sultanin sound, nin, and kitabun sound that you see at the end. So what happens is that both of these topics, although they are different, this is a known sakin, which is a separate thing, which is a letter with a vowel-less symbol on top of it. These are different topic of tanween that we covered. But what happens is that the rules that they these are like the four rules. They are common to both of these things, noon sakin or tanween. Why they are common, I will inshallah tell you as well. But these rules are that sometimes when the noon, noon sakin and tanween they come, sometimes what happens is that we kind of hide the sound of noon sakin and the tanween thing. Sometimes we kind of show their sound. Sometimes we change even the sound of this into a nasal sound as well. Okay, so there are like certain things that we do with the sound of these two things when we are articulating them in Quran. And also I can just mention this thing to you, that sometimes when you hear to the Quran, when you hear to the recitation, right? For example, when you hear to the recitation of Qari Mashari or other reciters, so what happens is that they kind of extend their voice and make it kind of a you can say millatan, like this something, right? They extend their sound and they do certain nasal sounds and all of these things. So they do not do that on their own. Like there is a rule that they follow for these even. Okay, when they are reciting and they are making the nasalized sounds and they are stretching the sounds at certain points, and so all of these things they are having rules to that. So at one point where they make those extended sounds or stretch, or you can say this thing, so that thing is related to the noon sakin and tanween as well. Okay, so for that you will have to remember the places where you can make those sounds and where you cannot say those sounds as well. Okay, so otherwise that will be considered a very big mistake. Okay, in terms of tajweed and recitation. So for example, just telling you, for this word you see here is ankum, ankum. And this word here, you see a noon sakin here, right? Noon sakin here. And what happens is that when we are reciting and when we are following the rule, we are supposed to say it like ankum, ankum. We are not supposed to say ankum. Okay, if we say ankum, that would be considered incorrect. For now, we have been saying it like this, ankum. But when you are reciting and when you are just saying, so you are supposed to follow a certain rule and say ankum and make a nasalized sound. So that will be, this is what they have termed as rule one, you can say. We will inshallah learn when we are supposed to do this. We are like discussing four rules of nun sakin and tanween. One rule is this one, where we kind of, do this kum. The second one is that, we just keep the sound as it is and say on who, on who. We do not say on who. Okay, for this one we did kum, but here we say on who. Whenever this comes in Quran, you just say on who. So you just kept it, as it is. The sound of the noon sakin here, that was as it is. We just term this as a rule two, you can say. The third one is, again, you see a noon here. Just kind of, ignore this. I've written here. This was like this. Min. If, I write this symbol, this was noon sakin, or even if there isn't any symbol, that would still be noon sakin. So this was min ba'di, min ba'di. But what happens is that when we are reciting, we do not say min ba'di. Rather, we say me and then joining this with meme. Mim, min ba'di. We kind of just ignore the sound of noon here. Okay, and we say min ba'di. We kind of change the sound of noon sakin, this noon sakin that we are doing, to meme letter. So that becomes the third case. Inshallah, we will cover these one by one. The fourth case can be we kind of just skip the sound and just join the sound of the letter that comes before noon sakin to the letter that comes after it. We kind of assimilate the sound of the letter that is before noon sakin into the letter that comes afterwards. So that becomes a four case, and we say mir, meme with ra, mir rabbikum, rather than min rabbikum, right? We will not say min rabbikum, we will say mir rabbikum. Okay, so these are like the four possibilities that we can do with noon sakin, and just same will be the case with the tanween as well. We will inshallah do this as well. So these are the four things that we do with noon sakin and tanween whenever they come. We will just have to pick from these four rules which rule to apply whenever we see noon sakin or tanween. So you are not supposed to just worry about this thing that okay, so the rules are kind of difficult or something like that. And the rules are not difficult. What you can do is that you will have to just memorize the rules one by one. These are four rules. So what you can do when we do the rule one, we will inshallah cover that rule today because that is very easy. Today we will be doing the rule one. So you are supposed to just practice the rule one from the qaida that I have, mentioned, al qaida al Quraniya. There are examples given in that. You can practice that from there, and you are supposed to do some extra effort and uh, search the examples of the first rule we will cover from the Quran as well. Okay, for your practice. If you want to just recite the Quran this Ramadan, right, properly, these rules are very important for that. So that is why I'm just trying to, kind of speed up a little bit so that you can at least do these rules before Ramadan. So we will inshallah be doing the first rule of the rule of Noon Sakin and Tanween. Whenever you are going to see Noon Sakin or Tanween in Quran, you are instantly supposed to remember something related to the four rules. You're supposed to remember, okay, that there are four rules, and I'll have to pick one rule from these four rules in order to articulate any word which has this Noon Sakin or Tanween. Tanween always comes at the end of the letters, but this Noon Sakin, it comes in the middle and it can come at the end of the words as well. For example, this word Noon Sakin is coming at the end. In this word of Ankum, it is in the middle, so it can come in the middle at the end as well. And for Tanween, you just look at this at the end of the words. Okay, mentioning an important point that I highlighted kind of, I just highlighted this point in the lesson of Tanween as well. In the lesson of, you can say, in the lesson of Sakin topic as well. sukoon that we did, which was like vowelless sound, I mentioned that the sukoon has a role in almost all of the topics. And the sukoon was hidden in in this tanween as well. In the tanween, which is this symbol, there is a hidden noon sakin in it. And I told you how that is the case. We can take any letter. For example, we are taking waw here. We put the tanween of fathatain here, the tanween of fathatain, which is two fathas tanween, two kasras tanween, which is kasratain, and two dhammas on waw. So when we place the tanween on a letter, the sound that it makes is like one. The an sound here is at the end. An. And here win. A wow letter and this kasratain tanween win. And for dhammatain it says wun. The un sound at the end of dhamma. So what happens is that when we try to write the sound the tanween makes, the sound the tanween makes, we can write the sound of this wow with a fathatain like this as well. Wow fatha noon sakin. Wow, Fatha Noon Sakin. How will you just articulate this? Just see this for a moment. Wow with a Fatha makes a wa sound. Wa. And if you attach a Noon Sakin to it, it will make a sound one. Wow, Fatha Noon Sakin, one. So that is the same sound which this letter has. One. So that is the same sound, okay? So the sound is the same, so that is why you can write this like this as well. And here you see a Noon Sakin hidden. So Tanween has a Noon Sakin hidden. This Noon Sakin will be hidden in all of these three, of Fathatain, of Dhammatain, and of Kasratain as well. Okay, the noon sakin is hidden in all of these. For fathatain, the fatha will be before and after that there will be a noon sakin. For kasratain, kasratain with a noon sakin and dhammatain with a noon sakin. Okay, so that is why the rules of noon sakin and tanween are, they are sharing these four rules. Okay, they are sharing these four rules because the topic is noon sakin and tanween. Tanween again has a noon sakin hidden in it. Okay, so let's cover these uh, thing. Let's cover the first topic today. First rule. So the rule number one of noon sakin or tanween is named as izhare halki. Izhare halki. Izhar I've mentioned, you can just skip the name for now as well. Okay, so izhar means to express, reveal, show something. Okay, izhar means to express, to reveal, to show something. And you can say making something apparent as well, apparent. Okay, and halki means throat. Halki means throat. So this rule will have something related to, expressing something, and, something related to the throat as well. So in Tajweed, there are 6 letters of throat. We did these 6 letters of throat when we were covering the letters, right? These 6 letters. So this rule has something to do with the halki, which means that the letters of halak, the letters of throat. So let's see just, what the rule says. If after noon sakin or tanweens, the fathatain, kasratain or dhammatain, comes any letter articulated from the throat. If after noon sakin or tanween comes any letter articulated from the throat. Okay, so what are the letters of throat? These are 6 right? These are 6 letters. Then the sound of that letter noon will remain as it is, no change. Okay, just simplify everything. Just kind of forget everything I've told you and see this word here. This is anhu. The word here is anhu. In this word, you see a noon sakin here. Yes, why we are doing the rules of noon sakin and tanween. You see a noon sakin. So just let's read the rule number one. What rule number one says? If after noon sakin or tanween, okay, so in this example we have a noon sakin. So let's see, if after noon sakin or tanween comes any letter articulated from the throat, which are these 6, Okay, so let's see if we have a letter from the throat after, in this example, after Noon Sakin, we see a letter Ha. This ha letter is articulated from the throat. Yes, this is articulated from, this is from the 6 letters of throat. Okay, so what are we supposed to do with this thing? The sound of the letter noon sakin will remain as it is, then no change. Okay, so the sound of noon sakin was, we have articulated it like who, on, who. So we will just keep it as it is. Okay, this is what the rule says. If after noon sakin or tanween comes any letter from these 6 letters of throat, what we will do, we will just do nothing. We will just keep this noon sakin as it is. So this is what the first rule says, okay? And that is why I said this rule is very easy, inshallah. Why? Because for this rule, what you can do, sisters, is that you will have to just, memorize these 6 letters. And I will just say that kindly, memorize these 6 letters of throat, which are Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain, Kha. And when you are reciting Quran and you see any word which has a noon sakin or tanween written, and you will instantly have to see the next letter that comes after it. After noon sakin or tanween, you will have to see if there is any letter from these 6 letters of throat or not. In case these 6 letters come, you will just keep the sound as it is. Okay, you will just kind of make the sound apparent here of noon sakin, keep it as it is to express, and you just reveal it, you just show this as it is. Let's see some more examples. Okay, so you can practice, inshallah. The first example here is with the tanween now. Kitabun anzalnahu. Kitabun, here at the end of the first word of kitabun, you see a tanween, right? Tanween always comes at the end of the words. So on the last letter of this first word, you see a tanween of dhammatain, and you are instantly supposed to look at the next letter that comes. Okay, here there is a hamza written. This is not a alif. Alif, right? If this symbol of alif has any fatha, kasra, or the dhamma symbol, that is a hamza. So after the dhammatain tanween, there is a letter which is a hamza. Okay, so hamza is from the 6 letters of throat here, sisters. So what we will do is that we will keep this as it is, and we say just kitabun. The sound was bun here, so we just keep this as it is and say kitabun anzalnahu. So this is the first example. Let's move on to the second one with a noon sakin this time. Min ilmin, min ilmin. Here you see a noon sakin here at the end of the first word of min. Let's see the next letter that comes after it, which is Ain letter here. So yes, again, Ain is again from these letters of throat, 6 letters of throat. We will just say min, min as it is. The sound of this one is min, min, min as it is. Let's see the next example here, sisters, of yan auna. In this example, you see a noon sakin which I have marked here, yan auna. After the noon sakin here, you see a letter hamza here. So hamza here is from the 6 letters of throat. We just keep it yan auna. We just don't do anything in this rule. We just see if there is a letter of throat after noon sakin or tanween or not. Then this next example is fasayunghiduna. Fasayunghiduna. In this word here again, you see a noon sakin in the middle right here, and after the noon sakin here, we see a letter ghain here, sisters. This letter. So this letter is ghain letter, which is from the 6 letters of throat. So we say fasayun. The sound here is yunghiduna. We just keep it just as it is. Azizun, zun. You just say this as it is. Azizun Hakim. You see a dhammatain here, and after the dhammatain, the next word starts with letter ha, which is a letter of throat. So we just say Azizun Hakim. Hakim. Zun here at the end. Azizun Hakim. Okay, so this is the first rule, which is izhar halki. We will do the izhar Izhar means we will do this expressing thing. We will just, showcase, we will just reveal. When we will do this, when there is a letter of halak, halki. Halki means, halki refers to the throat. So we will do the izhar when there is a letter of halak, of throat. So the name of the rule is izhar halki, which says that if after nun sakin or tanween comes any letter articulated from the six letters of throat, you will keep the sound of nun sakin, which is in simple nun sakin or hidden in the tanween, as it is. So this is the first rule, sisters, and you see a exercise in front of you. An exercise in front of you, and I would just say is that not only you are supposed to just practice this exercise as well, but you are supposed to see the examples of noon sakin after which or tanween as well, after which you see any letter from these six letters. Okay, so that will help you practice, inshallah. So let me just say the first row, and inshallah you can say the next one on your own. So we have covered this example. Yan auna. After noon sakin, there is letter hamza. Yan auna, as it is. Yan hauna. So here, after noon sakin, you see a letter ha of throat. Yan hauna. An'amta. In Surah Fatiha, you see this word, and in after the noon sakin, you see a ain letter here, and you say an'amta. An. The an is, just you just express the sound of this noon sakin here. Okay, an'amta. ينحطون ينحطون. Okay, ينحطون. Noon sakin, and after that letter ha, which is a letter of throat. ينحطون. فَسَيُنْغِضُونَ. We have already covered this example. Letter ghain after noon sakin. And وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ. وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ. This is again a word from Quran. After noon sakin, you see a letter kha, which is a letter of throat. So we just say mun. وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ. Okay, so this is the way you are supposed to practice all of the next words as well, sisters. We've already, up the limit of the time, but thank you so much for your patience. Jazakallah khairan kasira. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in your efforts to learn Quran, and may He bless your, time and, in your knowledge as well, inshallah. So